Welcome back in. It's Spence and Serg. We got one more college football game. I think it's incredibly late in the season. By the way, tickets are going for $4,000 out there in Miami. It's the Hurricanes versus the Hoosiers. Just an outstanding game by Indiana over Oregon. I mean, they look like an absolute juggernaut out there.
Yeah, they honestly looked like they were playing like a Group 5 team. I think JMU gave them a bigger challenge.
What, Indiana?
In general, like I think JMU's play against Oregon.
Well, you knew when Dante Moore fumbled the football into the running back's lap.
Yeah.
And it's great. And then Dante Moore, he was so awful, like he went back to school after that football game, dude.
Yeah.
He gave up all that cash, or he is going to be making good cash.
I know. I can't
and
believe
as a guy
he's
who
not afraid of the new incoming quarterback.
What, Dylan Raiola?
Raiola.
Well, I don't know if he's afraid of him. Listen, he's making $7 million. And as an Oregon guy, like it would be a great story for Dan Lanning.
Yeah, it would be.
If they're going to win. But Indiana, like, I love how Cignetti, like, don't you love how his eyes are, like, kind of, like, going into his scalp a little bit on the sideline? Like,
I love that he's never happy. Like, nothing. Anytime they pan to him, he's, like, upset or he's, like, in the middle of chewing somebody out. I love it.
What is it about? You think that they're robots at Indiana? Like, that's the style?
Yeah, I think that Cignetti is just a great leader of men. And, like, you look at it, like, I was watching game film of that game against Oregon, and they had a 3-star, the guy from JMU, their defensive lineman, doing a spin move on their tackle to the point where the tackle didn't even get hands on him. He got crossed over. It looked like it was a basketball crossover. Like, it was actually embarrassing, to be honest with you. Like, those guys are like 5-star recruits on the other side. And
yeah.
You got
Isaiah Roald, who's going to be a first round. He's 6'8", granite.
Yeah, I think that his testing is going to be a first-round tester, but, I mean, he didn't have the perennial, like, noise that a lot of these other college football
So real quick, like, you've played on good teams, like lacrosse teams in your career, right? You've played on teams that have competed for championships, right? Not to toot your own horn here, Serge, or not to, the kids use the word glaze.
Yeah, you're right.
Like glaze donut, not to glaze Serge. But, like, have you ever been, like, for those good teams, like, do you play to that standard? Like, if you're kicking someone's ass, like, the best teams you've been on, like, have you ever had, like, that serial killer-like mindset that Sig has?
Yeah, actually, that's also crazy that you mentioned that because, like, the thing that separated the teams that I knew were good before the season began and the teams that ended up being good at the end of the season, the common theme was, like, that no wavering, like, 100% bought in from the bottom guy to the top guy. We had a saying, like, in high school where we aren't gonna, like, obviously cater practices to you. Like, we're gonna keep going, right? But we're gonna train you, develop you, prepare you so that way the worst guy on the team could fill in any moment. And, like, it really was prepped that way, taught that way, coached that way, and the vibes of the team, it starts with, like, your captains, your leaders, and your coach signals down to the leaders, this is what I want, and every single person's bought in. And even, like, for example, I didn't get a lot of playing time at portions of my high school career, but, like, I knew I gotta stay ready, and they made me feel like I'm getting enough reps, even when some of the starters are losing reps, because if you get everybody to feel like I have a chance to make an impact in this game any moment, even though like, I looked at we're 19 games into the season, we're into the playoffs right now. I haven't played a minute right now, but I hear my name being called up in practice as like, hey, we need you with the starters, right? Like, when that's what Cignetti does a really, really good job of, is that, like, we're in the college landscape of, you're competing against other teams to poach your players, all that stuff. Well, Cignetti is competing basically against himself because he's bought into those players. Like, you're not going to get a better message than you are from me.
My favorite thing about Cignetti is, like, when they're pounding Oregon and going to go to a national championship, he's literally treating it like it's game 2 of the season versus Indiana State. He compared the Oregon game to Indiana State. And if someone messes up, like, in the end of a game, even when someone's up by 40, he's still going to, like, get really angry.
Oh, yeah.
And he doesn't allow, like, that happiness and that jubilation, or he doesn't allow the moment, how big it is. Like, he doesn't get, like, emotional like that. And that's what's crazy about their players. You have to rewire their brains like that. which is hard to do.
It's very hard to do.
You almost have to make them robotic, which is why this style would not work in the pros.
No,
I couldn't imagine like A.J. Brown thinking this style.
Not anymore, but it did work. Remember, do your job, Bill Belichick. Like the way that I was watching highlights of like his past Super Bowls, and the message didn't change. He said, "Hey, there's no like secrets. We're not going to reinvent the wheel here. All it is about everybody doing their job. We already know what we're going to do. We already seen what they're going to do. They're not going to do anything new."
Do you think Bill Belichick's he's a really brilliant defensive coordinator, but what do you think about these coordinators like Brian Haynes and Mike Shanahan that are up there at Indiana and never get like head coaching jobs? That's what's really weird to me. Well, like I would want to poach somebody off of Indiana's staff.
You want to, but it's just like what the Eagles have right now. The reason why the Eagles defense is so good and been so good for the past 2 years is because you have a coach like a Vic Fangio they're not interested in another head coaching job. Like they found the right fit for them. Right. And honestly, great kudos to their defensive staff over at Indiana, but I don't think that they would be coaching there if they had any idea.
Do you think Cignetti has a big imprint on this, or do you think he's a CEO?
I think that he had a big imprint on this all around. Like he's touched everything, but then ultimately he's like touched it all, watched it, oversaw it. It's going to be taught that way, and let it go. You know what I mean?
I'm going to throw a real random like name at you, which we didn't even prepare. Okay. Do you know Ben McCollum in basketball? Have you heard of that name?
Yes.
Let's see if you know it. Who's he coach now?
Ben McCollum. He's a college coach.
Yes.
Is he at Vanderbilt?
I'd be very impressed.
Is he at Vanderbilt?
He coached Drake last year.
Sorry.
Do you remember him, though?
I do remember him.
He kind of got these mid-major guys to just like buy into this winning culture.
Where's he at now? Is he still
He's at Iowa now.
Iowa. I knew he left.
Yeah. I feel like you knew McCollum. That was not meant to embarrass Serg. No. About random basketball knowledge.
We have so many names in our heads.
The point is that Indiana is systematically tough.
Oh, absolutely. And it's culture. It's basically trickle-down economics, but from your football team.
Were you still pissed at the Ben McCollum thing? I just saw you looking at Vito.
No, I said, like, you hear us talk all the time. Honestly, it's funny whenever we're in talking, like, both of us would just, like, name drop random people, and we're always reminiscing on, like, the past and these different names.
And trickle-down economics and Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, so people's names are going to get slipped in our, like, encyclopedia.
Anyway, let's talk about, we have some time left. Just talk about the Indiana rumors, okay?
Yeah,
that you told me before the show.
Another thing that Cignetti is super, super good at is being on the cutting edge of coaching. Like we've already hinted in past episodes about his approach to practice is different than any other coach's approach to practice. The way that he tampers off his practices later in the season, keep the guys fresh, all that good stuff. It reminds me of kind of like the Nick Sirianni when we're winning, not when we're losing. But that stuff is amazing, and that stuff adds to the lore of Cignetti. But like with every great story, there always seems to be a what if or like a but.
People want this to not be true.
Some people want this to not be true, that it's not Cignetti.
They want to rain on your parade. They want to see you go to the top in America, and then they want to tear you down.
Yeah, that's actually really, really true.
It's just like what Josh Allen, remember the tweets?
Yep, that's big, gets a lot of clicks when you can bring somebody down.
How about Stetson the Mailman Bennett?
Oh, my God.
He was too old.
Too old. Now he ended up winning a national championship.
Do you think they're going to turn on Mendoza, too? Do you think he's too pretty boyish and they're going to turn on him?
I think that he's going to the NFL. I don't think.
And I think he's aware that he's kind of a pretty boy, too.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the allegations?
I'll touch on that. So there's rumors. Again, this is alleged. We have no way of verifying this. I don't even think the people that have brought this to the people's attention have any way of 100% verifying this, because it's a lot of corridors that you'd have to explore. But basically, the story is that Indiana basically has a reason for why they're so successful, especially early in games. And the theory goes as such. There's like this rumor online that there's like a hacking going on, cybersecurity beef, something like that's going on. And Cignetti's basically getting information, whether it's practice, game film, things that maybe the average person doesn't have access to, or other coaches might not have access to. And it's been one of the biggest driving forces to why they have a lot of success. And it's been cross-referenced upon games, and the games that they happen to do the best in defensively in the first half, and usually the telltale sign is the games that they get a pick six. There's been a lot of games that they've gotten a pick six in on the first drive. It's been like at a historic rate, the amount of pick sixes that they're getting, just the amount of turnovers that they're creating, and especially for a roster full of guys that are pretty much unheard of. They have, what, 5 4-stars on their whole roster?
So, Serg, this story, I still, like, it's going to take so much for me to not identify them as national champs. Like, even the Michigan, and again, we haven't talked about this, but I don't think Michigan, like, really, like, cheated or did anything wrong.
No, and I think that was more like just one player trying to make himself, like,
what did you think of the sign stealing? Do you think that that's real egregious?
They throw up their signs in games, like, you could have got that information anyway.
And even, so if Dante Moore, by the way, if Indiana had your play as a quarterback, you cannot make that throw.
Possibly, but also there's a lot of coaches, like Mike Kevin Patullo, that will say things like, we're going to run the ball just to run the ball. There's a lot of coaches that believe in that philosophy, and the way I was taught was, like, when we're communicating, especially like at the line of scrimmage, right? At the end of the day, us hiding stuff just gives us a little bit of an edge. But at the end of the day, they can know what you got to do. They still got to defend it.
The cloud service is kind of what, like, if this is all true, it would be cheating, and it would dampen the legacy of Cignetti if this was true in the cloud. But guess what? The fact that he's got these 3 stars to run the football at Oregon, and the fact that you're physically mauling the crap out of them, like, if Texas Tech knew Oregon's plays, Oregon is still beating Texas Tech. So the way that they run the football is still what they do at Indiana, is still something that, even if they knew plays, I'm really impressed with anyway.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Because they physically bully people.
Yeah,
and Oregon knew they were running the football at them.
Right. Don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, like you said, the game's played between the white lines, and it's still best on best. You still got to move your block. You still got to get open. You still got to catch that ball. So, like, regardless of whether they knew the plays, didn't know the plays, whatever the scandal is and wherever it's going to go from here, ultimately, like, you still lined up against them, and they got the best of you. So, like, there's got to be... I know that nobody on Oregon's side of the field feels that they were cheated out of that loss. They just got out.
They got outplayed.
Yeah.
On the next segment, we're going to pick the national championship.